In this video, you'll watch me replace the front struts on a 2013 to 18 Toyota Avalon. I've included some helpful parts and tool links in the description if you want to check those out. Here's a quick look behind the wheel at a few things that are going to get just disconnected with this job. Be sure and watch both sides. I ran into some hiccups on the passenger side that might be worth looking at. Here I'm doing my best to release the clip from the strut so I can reuse it on the new one. This clip holds the wheel speed sensor harness in place, kind of helps with routing. Then I'll relieve some tension with the jack and remove the upper sway bar link nut. If your sway bar link didn't come off that easy, watch the video of the other side to see what you do if the nut free spins and won't come off the lug stud. I'm taking off these other couple of bolts here and nuts on the spindle. And these three nuts on top come off, and they're the final pieces that need to be removed to take out the entire strut assembly as a unit. I'm going to put in a new complete assembly. It's called a loaded strut. It comes with a new spring and shock and mounts and turn plates and bearings and all the stuff you need to refresh it to OEM like ride and feel. It also gives that new spring restores your ride height as the springs sag over time. When you put it up into that upper tower, you want to kind of rotate the whole assembly so that that bracket points out 90 degrees or perpendicular to the direction of travel of the vehicle so that it mounts up to the spindle. And then reconnect your upper sway bar length, the two bolts and nuts holding it to the spindle, and the little bracket here for the brake line and the vehicle speed sensor. Reusing again the clip there, tightening everything up, and then repeat the process on the other side. On this side, when I try to remove the vehicle speed sensor clip from the strut, the clip itself broke, and since I didn't have a replacement, you'll see what I did to work around that here in a little bit. Also, this nut just free spun, and it was actually the lug within the joint that spins, and so you couldn't get the nut off. So there's a way to accommodate for that. You can hold the joint with a 19 millimeter and then rotate the nut and get it off. It's a good time to replace those sway bar links, and a lot of the package deals you get when you buy front struts will actually come with new sway bar links. That having been said, these are suspension components that are being replaced, and you will need to do an alignment on the vehicle when you're done. The steering angles will change slightly with restored ride height, so be sure to think about that when you're thinking about time frame for doing the job and getting it scheduled with the local alignment shop, as well as planning that into the budget. Again, I'm using a jack to kind of manipulate the spindle and hold the weight of it to line things up as I'm putting it back together. And then this joint still spun. I neglected to clean it or wire brush it or put some anti-seize in it, so it still spun, and so I used a wrench to tighten it back up. The little clip here, remember, is broken, so I removed it from the harness, and then I drilled a hole next to the existing hole in the strut and then just ran a zip tie through it to hold that harness in place, doing the same thing with that other clip. So that job's all done once everything's tightened up. I hope you found this video useful. Be sure to use some brake clean on your brake rotors to get your oily hand grime off of the rotors so that your brakes work properly and don't get hot spots, and then send it down the road to an alignment shop. I hope you found this useful. I appreciate you watching, and I hope that you like and subscribe.